Okay, the WWE Hall of Fame review. I gotta say something about what happened Thursday. I'll try and make it brief and not to give too much information because it's not something you really need to know or care about. I was sick Thursday. I was sick Wednesday and Tuesday. To the point I had to go to the hospital. Now I'm okay, but sorry for the noise. But I was sick. So I do apologize for it. Like I said, I'm alright. But I needed to apologize because it's just part of my character. I do these videos not just because I do love wrestling, but because people like my opinions. And they are people I respect. And if I don't do them, it upsets me. So I want to apologize, even though all of you will probably say, don't worry about it. We know. Are you okay? Anything bad happened at the hospital? Stuff like that. I know you would probably say that, but for me personally, this is something that's important to me. So I do apologize that I was not able to get anything out on Thursday. But let's talk about the Hall of Fame. Now, if you didn't watch it, this year's Hall of Fame was not bad. It was pretty good. And I think there was about 2 or 3 that I did enjoy. The rest were alright. I didn't really need to care that much about them. Not thinking that they're not important people. It's just that there was only about 3 people I wanted to watch. 3. Now the first ones that we had were the Dudleys. Now Christian and Edge introduced them. And I gotta be honest here. I still like Edge. I still like Christian. Edge and Christian together most of the time is very funny. But let's be honest here. If you watch the Hall of Fame, their jokes didn't work. They really did not incite the crowd. The crowd was not excited by their jokes. They weren't. In fact, I think it would have been better if they played it straight. They just weren't as funny as the Dudleys. And the Dudleys put them to shame. They just did. And I kind of wish they had not gone there. They didn't click this time. Now, I'm not going to explain everything that Devon and Bubba had said. But I will say it was funny as hell seeing Devon, the one who started everything, and being a producer of WWE now, feeling like I'm the one you're going to have to take your marching orders from, behave yourself or you go off the stage. That's basically what he said to Bubba. I just cracked up laughing. It was funny. These guys have always made me laugh when they were booked properly. And when they're not on script, they are still gold. And when you see them in their, well, somewhat of a character, they're funny as hell. They're still funny. I still love them. And I felt they were pretty genuine about what they believed in. How Devon came up from Brooklyn. How Bubba Ray came up. And Bubba Ray did something that I did respect a lot. Both his parents are, unfortunately, they had passed away. So he pretty much said, you know what? I'm going to honor my parents the best way I know how. I brought them with me. He brought a picture of them when you go to a funeral and to a wake. You get the picture of the person from the wake and the funeral. I believe the wake. And he had both of their pictures. And he laid them on the table where the mic was. And that got a standing ovation because it's supposed to. That showed he did love his parents. Also, that I liked about what Bubba said. He did show Velvet Sky. Now, I don't know if Velvet Sky is on the NXT roster. There's a possibility she is not. He is going to marry her. He just said, this is my fiancée, I'm going to marry her. If you don't see her in the corner, you should see her. Unless I'm so tired I can't really do any pictures right now. If I haven't put any pictures up because I am still sick, I'm sorry. But it was interesting to see Velvet Sky there. An Impact Wrestling wrestler, former Impact Wrestling wrestler, at a WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. It was kind of funny. Throughout the talk, it was nice. I did enjoy their talk. Now, at the end of it, they got a poor guy to come out and put him through a damn table. Now, you would think that's pretty corny. And in a sense, it is pretty damn corny. But we got to be honest here. The Dudleys have gotten more titles than even the Briscoes. The Briscoes are the only other people that I know of. Jack and Jake, I believe that Jack and Jake Briscoe are the only ones other than the Dudleys that have the most amount of tag team titles from multiple promotions. So if the Dudleys have surpassed pretty much the Briscoes, they are the most known tag team with the most titles, and they had to go out with a bang, what they're known by. And even though it was pretty corny, it was the right way to go. Put a damn person through a table, as Bubba said, pretty much. Take this on Instagram, I'll make you famous. Flat through the table and gone. Now, the one I wanted to see, one of the three, that was this is the interesting thing when it came to Hillbilly Jim. I thought that he was going to be bubbly and laughy and everything, but the man schooled everybody. He pretty much was trying to teach people a lesson about one thing: opportunity. And that can go in many directions, not just in wrestling, but in life. If you got an opportunity, take it. And it was nice to hear him talk about the type of opportunities he had, how he managed to get into the wrestling business, how he stayed in WWE from the time he went off being on main screen TV. It looks like he stayed in the company and he worked behind the scenes, which I respect that. The guy pretty much said it like this: you can choose when the time comes to still drive a limousine or drive in a Volvo. He decided to continue driving a limousine. So he decided after his on-screen time was done, he went behind the screen and behind the scenes, and kept working for them there. No matter if it was for talent relations, my guess, whether it was just arranging for the wrestlers, making sure whatever, even if he was part of creative, I don't know. And I hope he wasn't, because if he was part of creative, now I want to strangle him. Because creative for the WWE sucks. If it was back in the day he was part of creative, no problem. I'm alright with that. But if he's currently part of creative now, I want to strangle his ass because the creative team sucks. But if he did whatever job he could, I respect that. And I liked how he talked. He was very humble. A Tennessee boy done proud. I respect that. He respected his family. He respected the people who was in the business. I was really glad how he spoke. And it was totally what I didn't expect it to be. I thought he'd be a little bit bubbly, because I never really did know what his real life persona was compared to his character, how he was. And he seemed to be a very smart guy who's very humble. And he likes popping his lips a lot. That's the thing I heard the most. Next person I wanted to hear was Kid Rock. Now, I've never really listened to a lot of Kid Rock music, but I never hated Kid Rock. And when it came to Kid Rock, I thought that he was the most genuine person talking there outside of wrestling. I've heard a lot of people getting awards that are outside of wrestling, that aren't wrestlers. They're just getting awards somewhere. But I can say with honesty, Kid Rock was pretty genuine. And I enjoyed that. He pretty much said, you know what? I'm glad to get this more than a Grammy, because whatever. You guys give me more than I ever got when I was getting a freaking Grammy in front of other people. He didn't say that, but that's kind of like what he relayed. And you know what the most strangest thing is? When you look at Kid Rock on that screen, I believe I have him right there. The guy looks like he's older than 50 in that white cloak, in that white, what was it? Not white, like bluish white or whatever. You look like he's older than 50 years old. The guy's the same age as me. Oh my gosh, he was born in January. I'm born in July. He's 47 freaking years old. He's the same age as me. I'm 47 years old. Look, I know I'm balding because of stress that I've gone through. But I'm going like, dude, I know people, once they reach 45, they gray out. It happens. But the guy looks like he's in his 50s the way he was looking. And sorry about that. I don't know what it is, but wow, he looked old. I think it might have been the clothes and the hat he was wearing, but that dude just looked like he needed to go to a nursing home. That's how bad he looked on the screen. But doesn't mean he didn't say anything that was profound, that I respected, and I liked. And I did like what he was saying. I did. He was a very respectful guy. He pretty much said, look, I don't care what you believe in. Because he did joke about Vince. And he did talk, no, religion, and then, what was it, religion or Vince? I think it was Vince. He's not supposed to talk about Vince, and he's not supposed to talk about politics, and he joked about politics, and he joked about Vince, and he pretty much said, taking jokes aside, who cares what you are, what you believe in, what your politics are? It doesn't matter. We care about wrestling. Pretty much that's what he said, and I respect that. Now, I'm going to talk about the Warrior Award. Now, I don't remember the kid's name, but I do respect that he's talking about getting organ donation. And when it comes to the one problem of this, it's the Ultimate Warrior's wife. I'm not against the woman. I'm not. But here's the thing. She's done this now 3 times, going into 4 now. 4 years. She talked about what happened with her husband. I would expect that she needs, if they're going to keep doing this with her every year for the Warrior Awards from now on permanently, the woman really needs to work a little bit on trying to talk. It's not about her having pauses. It's about her, how can I say it like this, with no disrespect. The woman just seems so awkward on screen, so uncomfortable about doing it. She comes off ungenuine to a certain extent. Like, I'm doing this because, you know what, I want to make a little money. I want to do this, well, because everyone expects me to do this. And I'm not saying she's being like this. It just comes off as it because she really hasn't worked on trying to relay things more properly. Now, I know a lot of people say, are you crazy? No, I'm not. I've seen people who don't give a shit about it act awkward like that. And in some cases, if it goes a little too far, it feels like the only reason she's there is for a meal ticket and getting something off the name of a husband. That's how some people are. They'll stay exactly as they are as long as they get what they want. And I really believe she needs to improve herself. If she's doing this once a year, someone has to coach her. Somebody's got to give her a little bit more so she doesn't look so freaking awkward. It's like she's disingenuous, that she's doing this to get some money from the WWE because her husband was part of it. Now, when it came to the kid, they need to bring out the steps for him because he wasn't very tall. But they should have brought the steps out earlier than that and then just slided it into place. That it kind of felt like they weren't respecting the kid. But in the end, they did bring out the steps. The kid was there, and he was pretty nervous about being on stage. But in the end, he did a good job, and particularly trying to defend one of his favorite wrestlers, Roman Reigns. Oh, I got to say this about Roman Reigns' his wife. If that's his wife, she's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Woo! Damn it all, she looked good. And oh, almost forgot. Devon's wife. That had to be Devon's wife that I saw. And I think that was his daughter, niece or daughter, whoever's next to her. Oh my googly moogie. That woman's got huge breasts. Unless those are implants, that woman is the most big-chested natural woman I've seen in a while. Woo! Damn it all. I hate you, Devon. Just joking. But the kid talked well. And I'll say for that, that's at least something. Now, who is next? Here's something that I might get a lot of heat for. But when it came to Ivory, I don't know what was going on with her. It just, the crowd was not that much into her. And worse yet, she just, in the beginning she talked well. I liked how she talked when she talked about Victoria and she talked about Molly Holly as a friend. And I kind of wish that unless Victoria doesn't want to have nothing to do with the WWE, I believe that she should be honored next year. That's just me. Victoria did a lot for the business. So I believe that she should do something. Now, if she does want to be involved in that, that's something entirely different. But if they've not called her back, I think that's kind of a damn shame. Anyway, she sounded fine in the beginning and near some of the middle. But then when she started saying that I've never been asked to be married, I've never gotten a man, so this is kind of like my wedding, that's when it went off the rails and it just did not feel right. The crowd was already lukewarm right here. And then it just felt like it was sliding down. She didn't feel right. I don't know what it was with her wanting to compare the Hall of Fame to a marriage, to prepare to get, pardon me being sick, I'm sorry, considering this like a marriage. I don't hate Ivory. I like Ivory. But when it came to this part of her acceptance speech, it just did not sound right. I don't know what to call it. It's not being eccentric. It just was bad. And I felt that she could have done something better than that. I don't know why she wanted to make this into a wedding type of thing. I really felt like she could have been better to talk about how she was working in Glow, how she was working in the beginning with in the Attitude Era, how much she loved, like Jillian, and like and who else? And yeah, and basic Jillian, and when September 11th happened, and they had to drive because flying was capable, and those type of stories of her, Jillian, and Molly Holly, I want to hear that. This I didn't want. I just did not like it. And I felt she gave herself a disservice trying to compare this to getting married. It just didn't work. But that's what that was. Now, they did like 9 people for the Legacy Hall of Fame. And one problem I had. One. Lord Alfred Hayes was honored. Why couldn't we call one of his relatives in to honor him in the Hall of Fame? Why? You're doing people from the past. Why do you have to do it that way? Why couldn't he been given somebody? Unless there was nobody left. Let's say there was no relatives that were able to induct him. It could have been a friend of Lord Alfred Hayes. That's, I felt, could have been better. You could have called somebody in. But if there was nobody there to call in, there was just no relatives left. They all died out and they didn't want to be involved, or there was nobody there that could do it, then I understand. But there was somebody there. I felt that he should have been honored like everybody else, not for the Legacy Hall of Fame. Now, I've been been showing the images of those people who were honored. I've mostly never heard of most of them. But it doesn't mean I'm not glad they did get respected. There was one man there that was white that was fighting for civil rights. That's pretty damn good. I'm alright with that. Even though Moolah being honored when she was basically... Well, I'm not going to talk about Moolah. You already know. But in the end, it was alright, but Lord Alfred Hayes should have been honored better than that. Now, let's do Goldberg. I know I can leave this for the last, but you know who I'm going to talk about. Now, was Goldberg good? It wasn't bad. The crowd was okay with him. It was. I enjoyed most of what he said. I felt that I think he was burning out a little bit because he was beginning to run out of stuff to talk about. And he could have made it shorter. I think he could have made his acceptance speech a bit shorter because he kind of seemed like he was running out. Beginning to run out of things he really wanted to talk about. And I know a lot of people would say, no, he wasn't. He was talking very well, but I'm being honest here. Not saying that what he wasn't saying was meaningful. I'm just saying that he didn't want to go into 2003, 2004. He didn't want to. He literally did not want to go in that run that he felt sucked. He wanted to briefly talk about it and then move on to 2017's short stint. 16 into 17 short stint. And I felt that was a disservice. I know he didn't want to talk about it. I know he didn't want to bring it back, but he really needed to. People need to understand what really motivated him to just want to turn off. What was one of the major reasons? Was it the grind of wrestling? Was it that he was so pissed off because WCW didn't treat him very well and he went to WWE? I felt he could have expanded on that, and he did not expand on it, and he didn't have much left to talk about. And I felt like that was a disservice to him. He really needed to talk about that. And I know a lot of people are going to say, no, we don't need to drag up all bad old things, but sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to air out what really pissed you off. Even with Brock Lesnar, you could have said, look, me and Brock We both were leaving. We were both burnt out. We were both tired of this. We didn't even give a damn. That's why we did it. And I didn't give a damn at the fans at the time. It would have been more respectful to him to say that than to try and be, like, politically correct. I would have respected that even more. But that's just me. Who else am I going to talk about here? Who else was there? The one, the Sleg Daddy. I'm sure if the Sleg Daddy doesn't do a Hall of Fame thing, I'm going to be surprised, because Jarrett is the one. That's the other one I wanted to see. I wasn't very interested in Jarrett. Not a big Jarrett fan. But I wanted to see what the guy was going to say, because I want to know what the Sleg Daddy's going to say. Because if Jarrett does become the new general manager of SmackDown Live, because if you looked at the Sleg Daddy's last video, he talks about hearing the rumors of it, because who knows, he may actually do it, because if the Kurt Angle is now on Raw, you never know if Jarrett's going to SmackDown. You never know. I wanted to hear how he talked. Now, when he went into the Hall of Fame of Impact Wrestling, he pretty much gave the same kind of attitude and kind of performance. Now, I'm not saying that he wasn't being 100% genuine. I'm saying, let's be honest. Most of what these people are going to say is mostly genuine and mostly kind of a work. They gotta look good. So I kind of think that that's what he was doing. He wanted to do his persona, as well as he wanted to be somewhat honest. And, well, he was honest to a certain extent. He was Jarrett to a certain extent. And the crowd was somewhat okay with it. Seeing Road Dogg introduce him, I'll say this. Road Dogg was okay. Oh, and Molly Holly, when she introduced Ivory. Oh my gosh, Molly Holly is gorgeous. I would marry that woman in a minute. She is beautiful. Beautiful. Damn it all, it's not fair I couldn't meet a woman like that. She's so damn good looking. Anyway, the thing that got me about Jarrett. Let's see. Talking about his dad, that was important. That I did understand and respect. Talking about his family and Karen, it wasn't bad. It would be nice if he said all the accomplishments he went through. Of course, he's not going to say Impact Wrestling. But he could have said more about what I've accomplished outside of WWE. That I worked for promotions. I helped create some promotions. He didn't need to say anything. In the end, this is what I generally think. That he could have said a little bit more about his life outside of the WWE. He could have. I mean, he didn't have to say Impact Wrestling. He didn't have to say GFW. He did briefly talk about the club, and I'm sure that's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He briefly said that. I think he could have expanded a little bit more. But the thing that got me, trying to sing after he was finished, getting Zack Ryder involved and a couple other people involved. What the hell was that? That looked so... I thought Edge and Christian, them trying to be funny and not hitting their marks was bad. This was worse. This did not work. I don't know why he went there. It just looked bad. Not funny bad. It went to funny bad for a few seconds, and then it went to bad. That's just me. It just went to bad. Now, let's see. What's left to talk about? Oh, it's time. Mark Henry. My boy Mark Henry got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Oh, that didn't feel good. Sorry. I was waiting for that. That would have been the end of the show for me. If he came first, yes, I would have still wanted to see Hillbilly Jim, and I wanted to see Kid Rock. But he would have, if I had to choose to leave after that, I would have left after Mark Henry. Because he was the main attraction for me personally, not Goldberg. Mark Henry was. I've always loved Mark Henry. I always believed Mark Henry should have been given the WWE Championship when he was hot. And they just blew it. Now, Mark, Mark was Mark. He was being pretty much a very humble person. From what I've heard about Mark over the years, Mark Henry isn't just a very kind person, a very respectful person. He's a very humble person. That's just his personality, just him. And he was a very humble and caring person. He has a beautiful wife, 2 good kids. And the thing that got me was his humbleness. And honestly saying that he was a stupid idiot when he was young. He didn't always listen. He was a freaking knucklehead. And he had to learn how to be a real man. And I respected that. I didn't know that he worked in the dungeon. And went to the Hart Legacy and went to the dungeon there. I didn't know he went and met Stu Hart. I didn't know that. I knew he knew about Owen, but I didn't know he spent a year over in Stampede Wrestling in Calgary. I didn't know that. And I was glad to hear that. That he was taught not just some moves, but how to present himself. And also how to take care of kids, because that's how he was able to take care of his own. I respected that. He didn't try to sugarcoat anything generally. He said he wasn't perfect. He was not always straight. And he had to learn a lesson or two. But that is the thing that I felt was the best thing I enjoyed. Him talking about dealing with Mae Young. Dealing with the Nation of Domination. Dealing with Owen, that he misses him so much. That means a lot to me. And I was happy about that. That was the section of this that I loved the most. The sexual chocolate, getting that roll put on him, that was the thing that got me. And he's going to, hey, Stephanie. You looking good, baby. I'm sure he's in my face right now. Oh, are you married? Oh, that's all right. You don't need to be married for sexual chocolate. He didn't say it like that, and I'm taking that away. He didn't say it like that, but he didn't need to say it that way. Sexual chocolate always gets every woman he wants because he's sexual chocolate. The man knows how to play to the crowd. I think he got the most highest pops on that stage. I'm honest. He was the one, to me, that sounded like he got the most ovation out of everyone there. And then when he put on that pink jacket, I don't know if I got a shot of it, but once he put on that pink jacket, the thing that got me, and he said, this is a lion-ass jacket. The way he talked, talking about AJ Styles, talking about, well, Roman Reigns, you're going to be doing this soon. If you win that title, you can either give it up or get ready to get it taken from you. That really meant a lot to me. Hearing that he addressed what pretty much a lot of people have been saying for quite a while, that he deserved more. And I think he was being politically correct. Because let's be honest here. As much as a lot of wrestlers are very thankful for what they got. Diamond Dallas Page is thankful for wrestling. And Mark Henry, Farouk, who is Ron Simmons, a lot of black wrestlers, they are to a very strong extent very thankful for what they got, because in many cases they don't always get it. But we got to be honest. WWE did not treat him well. He should have been given the WWE Championship years ago. And I would love to see him get one more run where they finally give him a real shot at that WWE title. He deserves it. And pretty much saying that he's a freaking mark for the business kind of shows it. Because he kind of puts away what he feels he's being screwed over, in a sense, by the business to his love for this business. That's just me. Like I said earlier, the guy's humble. He's a humble guy. And I still love the guy. And I still wish he would get another run. Maybe he will after WrestleMania. That's what I'm hoping for. That the WWE finally say, you know what? Mark Henry's earned this. Let him go on SmackDown Live. Let him get the title from AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura, whoever wins it. Let him run with it. And then let him drop it after a couple of months. The real WWE belt, not the Universal title, which is bullcrap. The real one. That's what I want for him. But it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll say this, I noticed a lot more. I could talk about the stories of him, about what happened with Big Show and him and the camera with like, some guy trying to get, no, forget that. You just got to watch the Hall of Fame and hear the Big Show talk, which honestly, I loved how the Big Show talked because the Big Show pretty much said how he felt. He loves Mark Henry. That's his family. And I'm glad to see that from both of them. But this was a good Hall of Fame. Mark Henry made it for me personally. But I want to know how you guys felt. And oh my God. This is almost a 30-minute video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace. And if I have problems with maybe take over New Orleans, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. But if I can't, I hope you guys understand. I'm still sick. I'm trying to save all my energy for WrestleMania. That's 7 hours nearly of wrestling to watch. So if I don't do anything tomorrow night, I hope you understand. Peace.